Hi everybody, my name is Nolan and today I'm going over how to make replicated doors. So let's just get right into it. So what I made first is I got the interaction character and I cleaned it up a bit. So we only have move forward, move right, move X and move Y, and in the collision we have nothing special. It's pretty much a normal overlapping character. And what we want to do next is we want to make a door object. In my case, I'm gonna really quickly open Blender because we need a special pivot point for our door. So with Blender open, I'm going into layout, selecting everything, pressing Shift A, creating a cube, going into front view, going up and then slowly going to side view, and then scaling it down to with S to roughly 0.1. Change the mesh's lowest point to 0 and the highest point to 1.8. Then I want to change the thickness, so I'm just going to select those both, scale it down to around 0.4, 0.5. There you go, it's a bit thicker door. And what I'm gonna do last is I'm gonna scale this down again to 0.5, and now I have the base mesh. What I want to do with this, I want to go on top view, press G, and realign it so its anchor point, that little yellow line, is roughly on the bottom left of the door when you look from, well, just the bottom, one of the corners. What I want to do with it, I want to just export this and just use desktop test door. There we go. With the test door, I'm just gonna I'm gonna make a asset folder, assets, and then a meshes folder, SM. And normally I would name my assets SM underscore file type underscore name. So it would be SM underscore interior underscore doors or exterior, one of the two. Okay, so in blueprints, I want to create a new actor, which is gonna be A underscore door. And in a door, I want to add a static mesh. And that static mesh will be our test door. And what I want to do with this is I want to roughly line it into center, so it's later easier to place this mesh at the right position in the world. Also, after this, I want to save this level inside doors, inside levels, and this is gonna be our doors level. Map underscore doors. There we go. And with that, we want to set this to replicates. Well, we want to set the actor to replicates. Also, let me just drag this over here again, because on the other side, it's a pain to use. Okay, so now we need a way to interact with this blueprint. So we need to make an interface. How have we done? Oh yeah, we made a data folder. So in doors, we want to make a subfolder, which we're gonna call data. And in that data folder, we want to add a blueprint interface bpif underscore door interaction. There we go. Ah, god damn it. There we go. Okay, so we want two interaction events, which is one is e underscore open door, and the other one is to e underscore, well, nudge door. So yeah, open door will also deal with closing door. I'm gonna go over it in a second a bit better. Okay, so we have our interface. So in here, we want to go into our class settings and BPIF door interaction. Good, then we want to compile and save, and we want to add two events, door, open door, door, there we go, door. So we want a boolean is being opened, and in here we want also a actor reference for both of them. Actor, and this is gonna not be a simple actor reference, this is gonna be a character doors reference. So char doors char ref characters char ref, and the reason for that is so we can run consistent logic. In our case, we want our nudging system to work with that. Okay, so if we want to open door, we want to set is being, we want to check if it's being opened. If it's true, we don't want to run anything. If it's false, actually, let's make a not. If it's not being opened, we want to continue, and then we want to set it to true. And then we want to go in a timeline. There you go. So this is gonna be our open / close timeline. Okay. We don't want to, I don't think we want to directly go into it, but what we want is we want a custom event down here, and we want it to run on all open door. I might be wrong with this, but we will see in a second. So we want a boolean in here is being opened, and we want a branch in here. If it's opened, we want to play, and we want to reverse from end, and we want to play from start. There you go. And we want to add a function, a float track, and the float track gonna be progression. And now it's important how long you want to make it. So you always want to start at 0, 0. But where do you want your last point to be? In my case, I want it to be at 2 and at the value of 1. Up here, I'm gonna cap it to 1, and then I'm gonna click those just to scale it into my view, which I could have done better. There you go. So now we have a linear track, which is it linear? Yeah, it's linear. So we have a linear track which goes from 0 to 1. And what we can do with this is we can multiply this, float times float, float times 90, and we can set relative rotation. There we go. We want to split this, and on update we want to set our yaw. And up here we want to do a flip flop. There we go. And on set flip flop we want to call our open door to, on the first one we want to set it to true, and the second one we want to set it to false. There we go. And then we want a delay after here, which is in our case 2 seconds. And after set delay, we can allow the opening of the door again. So in our case, we can set is being opened to false. So what we do here is on event open door. We get a character ref. You can do a lot more with this character ref, but for now, I'm not going to use it, but I will need it for nudge door. Okay, so if nobody's opening the door, if somebody is if nobody is opening the door, we allow the progression, and if the door is being opened, if we set is being opened to true, then we go into a flip-flop. Our first flip-flop is open, our second one is close. And then we go into a delay depending on how long our timeline is, and then we allow opening of the door again. After we're done with this, we want to head over back into our character. In the character, we want to get 2 events. Well, we want to pretty much get 1 event right now, which is F key. And what we want also is a 1 and a 2. The 1 and 2 is not really that important for now, but we're going to really quickly actually add something in here. On nudge door is we want to have a direction, which will be 1 and -1, but we're gonna do that in a second. So what we wanna check is we want to get overlapping actors of type a door. And this way it will be important if you have multiple doors. Don't put like 1 door specific logic right here. What I recommend you doing is I would recommend just making a master actor a door, and then just making child actors with like specific logic. So you can just look for the master if you want to look for any child actors. Okay. Or we can actually, which we're gonna probably do, is work with tags. And in here, we want to add a tag, which is door, because that will actually make things easier. Can we get overlapping actors for a loop hashtag door, and it's all run on the client, so it's cheaper. Normally I highly advocate against running things on client. Actually, I think we should actually run this on client, on server. So what we can do is we can pretty much cut this out, run this down here, and make a custom event os check for nudge plus overlap, which will be a run on server. There we go. What do we want to call? os check for nudge overlap. And on the other one, we want to do the pretty much the same. Actually, we can remove the plus, add a boolean in here, and use this as our is positive. You can use it as our plus and minus. So we can just run this here and this here. This way we just keep code down and save us some work. Okay. So in here we wanna get our overlapping actors. And then we wanna check if any of those actors has the tag door, and if he does, we wanna call nudge door, and this is gonna be a message. And haven't I added something to nudge door? Yes, I have. Also, direction is not. Let's just use a boolean because that will make things easier. And let's refresh node. Okay. Let's always check nudge overlap. Okay, you're not erroring out anymore. There we go. Then what we want to do is we want to nudge message, which still, oh wait, I added that in open door. Okay. And we want to call here is positive. There you go. There we go. And in here, and our target is going to be that actor, and our character ref is going to be self, and is positive will just be determined by this. So let's just hook it up like this, and now let's do the character. So on this character we want to get overlapping actors with actors and all that jazz. And if we are overlapping anything pretty much, we want to check if it has doors. If it has doors, we want to run, oops, it also needs to be a custom event OS open door, which is going to be run on server. Forgot about that, sorry. OS open door. There we go. In here, we're then going to, instead of nudge door, we want to call open door, and it's also going to be a message with a reference of a character, which we're just going to use our self-reference. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to go back into our door component and add two collision boxes, one for the front entrance and one for the back entrance. So depending on where we stand, we want to push the door in the opposite direction. So we want to pretty much use this as front entrance, so let's call it FE, and a back entrance, which we're going to call BE. And what we pretty much just do with those, we just check for overlap so we can actually size them up a bit. It won't hurt. There we go. And then move them a bit closer. So just up to the door and just up to the door. And what we want to do is on open doors, we don't need this anymore. We go into, well, we go into this actor, well, in the door actor, there we go, and we want to call open door. So what we're going to do is we want to get overlapping actors. Is overlapping actor, and the other actor is going to be this. So in this way we can just check if this one is overlapping the other. Also, those two need to be set to overlap all. Yes, and it should be fine. We might run into issues, but we will see. And what we can do now is, oh yeah, we already removed it, so let's refresh this node. Did I? Nope, it's rule 4. Huh. So, oh, that's nudge. Okay. Wait, have I spaced out? Yeah, I completely spaced out. There we go. We need to hook this up down here. I'm sorry. So what we want to do with this is pretty much just want to check if we're overlapping the front entrance. And if we are, we want to promote this to a variable. And overlapping direction. Move this a bit back. Put this in here. And use this as our direction in which we are overlapping the actor. So down here, we want to do a selector. And what we want to select is on true, we want 90. On false, we want -90. So let's get the actor into the scene. So the issue we had is I forgot that our character is a floating cube. So I had to raise this up a little, and that pretty much fixed it. But this brought us a new issue because it works now. Great, we are opening a door, but oh no. Oh no, we don't want this to happen. But otherwise, in one direction, it's working fine. So what we want to do is we want to somehow save the last location. And pretty much use this. So. What's the best way to do this? We probably want to go move away from the flip-flop and use a branch. Is opened, and yeah, we can just use a boolean which we call is opened, and on true we want to set it to false. No, wait, what? Yeah. There we go. This is opened to. There you go. Let's just do it this way. And let's set this open to true. Now, depending on if it's open, you want to call the reverse logic. And in here, we want to pretty much we want to pretty much have a variable which is last open direction, which we're gonna set on if we're opening the door. I think we should still use a flip-flop. I think otherwise this is confusing things. So on A, on B, there we go. If it's open, you want to set the last open direction. And we want a variable in here which is override open direction. And we want to just use another selector. And and yeah, well, if we want to override, we want to set this to true. And on not, we don't want to. And also, let's generally, I think I have a better idea. So we have this, and depending on if overlapping direction and last overlapping direction is equal, we want to select. Well, we kind of only care for this one. I just realized. Last open direction. And I think that should have fixed it. I probably forgot about something. So if we open it this way and we go over this side, yeah, we fixed it. And now if we open this way and close it this side, yeah, so we fixed the basic door. So what we can do next is we can go and set basic door, and we can even say we want this to be quicker because I just realized it's really slow. So we set it to 1 second here, to 1 second here. There we go. Now when we overlap, it's a quicker door. There we go. Now, when we open and close it, it pretty much runs the logic we need. Okay. So, the other direction will be different because we're pretty much just trying to nudge the door. And I highly recommend, the nudging is pretty much a proof of concept. This will not be as solid as the second one is. This mainly because the nudging will have issues. But I'm gonna see if I can fix them in this tutorial, but I might not be. So what we pretty much want is we want a shorter timeline. So we roughly want to divide it by 10. So you want to just make it 0.1 long and set the value at set the value at 1, but the time at 0.1. So every 0.1 we want to go from 0 to 1. Like, it will make more sense in a second. So OA underscore nudge door. Okay, so in our case it's -10 and 10. So we want to also clamp this, clamp float to -90 and 90. And in your case, you can just do it for whatever. Minimum is -90 and maximum is 90. And then we pretty much want to copy paste the code we've set up here. And the good thing is we don't need is positive anymore because we can just use whatever we used till now. So in our nudge door, we can just remove this. There you go. So what you want to call here is OA nudge door. And this time we don't want to go in a flip-flop. And we don't need is opened and last direction. What we want is we want to check if our actor is overlapping this. There we go. And depending on this, we need to also use it in the right one. And we pretty much only want to go one direction unless, yeah, we pretty much want to only go one direction because you can, I mean, technically we can set nudging up like opening the door, which I think would be better because we kind of want to just nudge to see in a room. I completely thought about the system wrong, so let me just fix that real quickly. Also, this needs to be a multi. So, okay, so we want to nudge open and close. So let's just copy what we have down here because I completely spaced out and completely forgot what we're actually doing. So I apologize also for that. So we have this. We want to hook this into here, here, here. Up here, we want to change the delay to 0.1 and 0.1. And if it's front entrance, we want to overlap it right here. Here we go. And then we want to call OA nudge door. I'm gonna call this override direction thing, and here, and here, 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 and here. And we still want to keep this from 0 to 1, and this is gonna be timeline underscore nudge, and we want to clamp it at plus and minus 10 degrees. Minus 10 and plus 10. There we go. So if we now go over and click 1, we see we nudge the door and we can close it again. If we nudge it over here, so we need to close it first and then we can open it. Pretty much I now have made it so both buttons do the same thing. But if we do this and then open, we see we have a little bit of an issue. So what we want to do is we want a boolean which pretty much says is nudged. Is nudged. And if we just nudged the door, we want to set this. So in our case, we want to set this down here to false and up here to true. So with this boolean, we can do something. So we can go in here and we can select. And if this is true, we want to start at 0.1. Instead of this not being at nudge, this is being down here. So now we nudge it. There we go. And then we open it. And what we want to do is, first of all, we want a sequencer. Sequence, because we first need to set our new time and we need to make this replicated. So this is our new time. You want to use nudged and you want to set this new time. If it's not changed, we don't want to change it, and play and reverse from those locations. There you go. So now if we nudge it, we see it's a, what the? So I just ran into a bug. So, we want to set as nudged, and whenever we open it and it was nudged before, you want to set as to false. And are we using is opened in? So right here and right here. So if the door is opened, we don't want to nudge. There you go. So if it's already open, we don't want to nudge it. So if we nudge it and open it, and then it's still, let me think about this really quickly. So I was just about to end the video, but I realized a bug, which this was not run to multicast. And this was not set to reverse from end, because we're setting a time here and we don't want to use this if we reverse from the end. So we want to set this to reverse from end. And now if we, I just made a few walls in here. So if we play with 2 players and player 1 wants to nudge the door, we will see on player 2, it also nudges the door, and we can now see the player through here. And if we now say we want to open it, it opens for both players. We want to close it again and nudge it maybe in the other direction. And now we can see, oh, we can see you. Okay. And if we now decide to open it, and then we can close it again, we can nudge it, unnudge it. And yeah, this is pretty much the basic door system. If you have any questions about anything in this project, make sure to either visit the Discord or just write in the comments. I try to reply as quick as possible. And with this said, I hope you find a use case for this in whatever project you're working on. And with that said, I wish you all an amazing day and goodbye.